Hello, and welcome back to our Catechism series. We are now on the 8th commandment. You shall not give false testimony against your neighbor. What does this mean? We should fear and love God that we do not tell lies about our neighbor, betray him, or give him a bad name, but defend him, speak well of him, and take his words and actions in the kindest possible way. And as you can tell, the way I emphasize that, there's a lot to think about, especially with that last part. Well, let's go to the Bible first. From Proverbs chapter 19, a false witness will not go unpunished, and he who pours out lies will not go free. Pretty simple statement that if you are witnessing or telling about an event that happened and you are telling it falsely, lying, especially in like the court of law, you can be punished for that. You should be punished for that. It is a wrong thing to do. From James chapter 4, brothers, do not slander one another. Anyone who speaks against his brother or judges him speaks against the law and judges it. And when you judge the law, you're not keeping it, but sitting in judgment on it. So if you say, well, I'm going to say nasty things about my fellow Christian, you're saying that the law, God's law here, the Eighth Commandment, does not apply to you. You can say whatever you want to them. And that's just not true. God calls us to speak thoughtfully, kindly, truthfully about the people around us. And then Zechariah 8, verse 17, do not plot evil against your neighbor, and do not love to swear falsely. I hate all this, declares the Lord. So really, the Eighth Commandment is about how we think about, how we talk about, or talk to the people around us. Really, it's protecting God's gift of a good name. You might say, well, what if someone does not have a good name? What if they have brought a lot of trouble upon themselves by the way they've lived? Well, this is where I think Luther had some wisdom in the way he describes what is God looking for. Take the words and actions in the kindest possible way. Um, the kindest possible way does not necessarily mean you have to lie about whether a good, they're a law-abiding citizen or not. You can still say, no, this person did break the law, but you're not going to bring any other judgments in on that. Let that be taken care of by the people in charge. An example, again, from God's word, in the New Testament, there's this picture of the devil and Saint Michael arguing over the burial place of Moses. And there's a reminder from Jude that the archangel Michael would not even bring an accusation against the devil, but simply said, well, may the Lord rebuke you. I'm not going to call you names. I'm not going to bring all this bad stuff against you right now, but because of this single problem, I'm going to say simply, may God deal with your sin here. And I think Christians can learn from that. When dealing with people, the kindest possible thing we might have to say about them is, God will have to take care of your problems. It's not my place. I can call you out on it, but I'm not going to execute judgment, unless, of course, we're in a court of law and I'm part of the jury, in which case I can throw my decision in, but it really rests upon the judge and the court to decide. Speaking of courts, swear. This is part of the false witness. The idea is that if you picture like a courtroom scene and you're told, swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, you are taking an oath, making a promise that you are going to speak honestly and truthfully. And when we are talking about the people around us, we want to do exactly that. Why? Because a person's reputation is at stake. It can take years to build a good reputation and minutes to absolutely destroy it. It is a very, very precious gift, and it's very hard to get back once it has been ruined. If you've ever had a friend tell a lie about you, and the next day all your friends are no longer your friends or making fun of you, you know how damaging this can be. So we want to always speak well of others, and we can't say anything nice, don't say nothing at all. Some other terms to know: slander. Maybe a better word we use today would be defamation. When you speak falsely about someone with the intent to harm their reputation. So I may know that one person over here is not, in fact, a crook, but in talking to others, I may use that term. Oh, they're a crook, they're a criminal, they've done so many awful things. What awful things? Well, there's too many to tell you. There's just lots of awful things. None of that is true. But now the people listening to me are going to assume the other person over there is kind of a shady character. I have slandered them. I have ruined their reputation. Libel is closely connected to slander, but it has to be written down. So in the newspaper, on the internet, in a book, again, with the intent to harm a person's reputation. You heard me mention the internet. So Snapchats, WhatsApp, Facebook posts, whatever you're using nowadays for social media, the things we say about another person, whether it's a recorded video or just the typed words, text messages, that also falls under the eighth commandment. How we talk about other people, whether it's true or not, gossip or not, it can harm the reputation. And if it's not anything good, don't say it. It might seem funny, but don't do it. Because again, a reputation is such a precious commodity from God. And especially for Christians, with our reputation, um, we bear not only our own names, but also the good name of God. And so people will judge Christians based on how we act. And if I have a bad reputation through no fault of my own, but because people have been speaking poorly about me, that means that they're also maybe going to speak poorly about church, poorly about Christ. Um, and that's just a whole mess. So with the eighth commandment, then, we want to be honest, tell the truth, and that does not give us a pass to be jerks with our honesty. Um, but taking words and actions in the kindest possible way, gentle correction, patience, thoughtful words, but honesty as well. And that's the eighth commandment. For next time, then, please do know the eighth commandment. And if you have to go back and watch this video again, by all means do so. All right, thanks for tuning in, and God's blessings.